We have in the house Mr. Weston Rutkowski. Dang, what is today? February 2nd, 2025. Weston interviewed me.
What day was it?
In my first video. I know it released July 1st, 2013.
Do you remember when we went up there?
I mean, it was 2013.
No, I'm saying, do you remember the exact date we went up there?
No, I just know that it was.
Yeah,
it had to have been in June.
because I was on my permit.
Yeah, we both were. No, I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't. I was, because I remember we talked about it, and I was on my permit, and you said I'll go up there with you. So I had to have 5 of them. I don't know if it's still the same or not, but I went up there twice. Once with you, and once with Zach Arthur.
Yeah, that was Cowtown is what we're talking about.
Yep.
The very first video was you interviewing me. I think it's labeled, the title is Dale Brisby Bull Rider 1. And yeah.
Look where
Weston's
look where
baby
you're at now.
Yeah. Weston's baby face.
There was no beard.
No beard.
Cool shirt though.
It was a cool shirt and hat. We both had the.
I still got that hat.
Me too. I still got the one I wore too.
It's in the closet.
Yeah. Dang, that's, what is that? 12 years in May. In a couple of months, that'll be 12 years ago.
I actually saw the other day, I was in the attic looking for like a jersey I had to send to somebody. I found the original bandana bull bash t-shirt.
Oh, yeah. That shirt was earlier than that video.
Yeah.
That
was
shirt.
like 11.
Yeah, 2011. Yeah. So 2013, I mean, because I had the Facebook. Mm-hmm. We were making posts on Facebook. We just didn't do any videos.
Just prank phone calls.
Just prank phone calls. And the first prank phone call was 2010. And then, yeah, the bandana bull bash.
Was I living at Radiator Ranch then? I can't remember where you're at.
No, you didn't live there till
14 or 15?
14.
Yeah.
In 14.
Yeah.
Because 13's when Pop died. The video come out. They sold it in 15, and then I moved to Winnebago.
So I was there 14, 15. That's right.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah. Oh, man. That was a long time ago. 12 years. Good heavens. You were still doing, so that's how long you would have had your PRCA. You've been fighting PRCA rodeos.
Yeah,
12 years.
I didn't start fighting bulls until we had that buck out at Snook in 11.
Yeah, around the bandana bull bash.
Yeah, because you were getting on practice bulls.
Yeah.
And it was just me and you and Snook.
Yep.
And Tiger Paw.
Yeah, that Brennel. Muley Brennel.
Yeah, that was my very first one. And then, so yeah, I would have started in 11, and in 13 I had my permit.
Dang.
Spring of 11 is the first time I fought a bull. That's what it was.
That's a good place to fight your first bull, especially a muley.
Oh, dude.
Hot muley like Tiger Paw.
5 of them. Was it 5 or 6?
Yeah, it was a bunch of black
Tiger
muleys
Paw.
and the Brennel.
There's a black mott, a black baldy, catfish.
Catfish John.
Everybody wanted catfish.
Catfish John.
I don't remember the others.
Around to the right. Mm-hmm. Then there was the one that Kermit owned that my dad had sold him. God, what'd they call it? Overdraft.
Overdraft.
Because he overdrafted his account when he bought him.
Yeah, the black and white.
He went to some PBRs later.
And then the big steer.
And then the big steer. Switchblade.
Switchblade.
What was that guy's name that would always come up there and he would enter, see what he had drawn?
Michael something.
And if he didn't, no, you're thinking Brinkman.
That's what
Yeah. He got mad at me. I called him Stinky Brinky. No, there was a kid, remember, like he would, if he didn't, there were 2 steers that we would put in the draw. And one of them was Switchblade because he would turn back every time. And he was cool. He didn't, it was hard to ride because he didn't have any shoulders and he would turn back.
He had a bunch of suck back to him.
But the yellow steer would just make a big circle. And this guy would enter every week And if he drew the yellow steer, he'd get on and still be terrified, so scared that he would almost cry. But if he didn't draw that steer, he would let somebody else ride, like because he'd already paid his fees. You remember who I'm talking about?
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Anyways, good guy, super nice guy. Drove a beer truck.
I mean, you're either a bull rider or you're not. Look at me.
He was
obviously I wasn't.
He was a steer rider. Meaning, like, if he drew that steer, he'd ride. If he didn't, such a nice guy. Nothing wrong with, but he was right where he needed to be in Snook, Texas. Anyways, yeah, that was a fun pin. Remember, were you out there whenever?
Snook on Wednesday, Fuego afterwards.
Yeah, we'd go to, yes, we would always go to Fuego. What's that? And then that guy, that bald-headed guy that owned Fuego would always walk up to our table.
Mm-hmm.
But did you ever go with us to the watering hole?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that was the place to be. Garrison and Dallas. And there would just randomly be a bunch of girls there. Clay Jackson, you remember Clay Jackson? He would get on with me.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Man. Yeah. Snook, Texas. For any of you that go to College Station, go to A&M. There's Chili Fest. Have you ever been to Chili Fest there?
Have you even been back there yet?
No, I haven't.
I've heard it don't look nothing like it.
Really?
Out at Snook, yeah. They've said it's completely different out there. I guess Kermit's doing pretty good these days.
Is he? Yeah, he called me the other day to come back for a bull ride. Ooh, dang, I forgot. Yeah, what's his name called me too? Robert Mims. He got in a bad accident.
What happened to him?
It wasn't bull riding. I think he was like roofing or something maybe. Fell off a roof.
Dude, that guy's so cowboy.
He's such a cowboy.
I remember riding with him to Woodland.
Uh-huh.
Was it me and you and him?
Yep.
Yeah.
To Bubba Miller's bull riding over there. He was telling stories about
everything.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this guy?
I remember he was telling stories about fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that when you got him to sit down, and Yeti did that deal over him too, I think. Yeah, I was like, people need to know that guy's story.
Yeah. Dang, we dadgum. I didn't mean for us to go down memory lane with Snook, Texas. Whenever. What about you? What happened after Snook?
It's your podcast, not mine.
You started. Started fighting bulls.
Yeah, I mean the very first bull I ever fought was for you, Dale. So
that's true.
I guess if it weren't for Dale, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
You're welcome.
No, honestly, that one phrase you said right after I fought that first bull really changed everything. You said, I remember you fell off.
Probably stepped off. Probably after the whistle.
Excuse me. It was 10, 15 seconds in. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just remember the gap and saw the gap, stepped in, didn't know anything to do after that. It took off running, turned around. Tiger Paw was coming after me. I threw a fake, ran back to the buck and shoot because I had my boots and spurs on still.
Yeah.
You looked at me, you're like, you should do that.
Yeah.
I was like, do what? You should fight bulls. I was like, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Man, I don't know. I just couldn't. It's like I couldn't get enough of that feeling.
Yeah.
And I never got it riding bulls. Hell, I couldn't even stay on them, much less ride them. And I just never could get enough of that. And I really think it was like that very next weekend, or really soon after we put together that buck out. Mm-hmm. And I got on the first bull, and then I fought the rest of them. And I was like, yeah, I ain't never getting on again.
Yeah.
It's such a wild ride.
It was crazy. I do remember. I thought you were going to say something about me suggesting you slow down.
Oh yeah, that's all. I still need to slow down
because you were
amped.
Weston's pretty athletic, and not that anyone would assume you weren't, but for this short white guy, very fast, can dunk a basketball.
Used to,
and
I don't think I can touch the rim now.
But that's a good indication of your athleticism, which would make you assume that, like, when there's, I don't know, it can get pretty slow when you slow it down, and what can get pretty slow is like that time for the gap, especially when you know the bull rider is, you watch his hips, he's about to get bucked off, you've got time, you're getting closer, you know you're going in there, and they hit the ground, and then that bull finishes making his round coming back through. Once you stop blacking out, you know, it'll slow down, and a guy of your speed could blaze through that gap so fast that the bull just never sees you.
Yeah. Yeah, it took me a very long time to realize when to use my speed.
Yeah.
Like that, I mean, you know, that comes just with bulls in general is relying on what you're seeing, not just pure speed and, you know, being so amped up and being fast, it being so new. It took me a long time to just be like, okay, like you can get through there, you can get out, but use it when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I mean, I still have to remind myself. I get gunned up, and first couple bulls out, you're like, slow down, kid. Like,
right,
you're plenty fast. You don't got to go 100 miles an hour.
What about on like a big Mexican bull? You don't feel that way?
So different. Like, it's weird. Just kind of the trajectory of my career, how I went so heavy into freestyle, and I got away from rodeoing and just, you know, letting people dictate which way I went, kind of deciding I can do this without you type deal. And I almost got so comfortable with fighting bulls to the sense where it's like I could go fight a fighting bull and my heart rate barely get up at all. Mm-hmm. But I guess it's because I just did it so much. And even now, like during the fight, I don't know, it's just so slow. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes, like going to protection, you know, it's kind of ramped up a little bit more. And luckily now, you know, it's kind of more, my career's back to 50-50. So now it's all slow. But man, there for a long time, them fighting bulls were just, I don't know, it's like, I remember being in Salinas on Sunday afternoon, you know, championship Sunday, and just, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's call for this fighting bull.
It's crazy the timing and looking back at bullfighting and where it was as an event, as an industry within a niche within rodeo. Looking back at 12 years ago, you know, it was a pretty divided community, I think. It wasn't divided in the sense as like people didn't get along, but there were people that would freestyle, and there was a clear line of people that would and people that wouldn't. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the Cody Websters and Dusty Tuckness, Chuck Swisher, like those, you know, Nate Justice, Nathan Harper, like these guys, as you and I were, I don't know. Well, I was kind of switching my focus within rodeo about the time you were switching yours.
Yep.
Regardless, those guys were all, there was a group of them that were just not ate up with freestyle, but they really enjoyed freestyle. And then they also, you know, fought big rodeos. Then there was another group of, not necessarily a group, but everyone else in bullfighting that they just didn't care to fight freestyle.
I'm just protection.
They wanted to, a lot of guys like specified, like, I'd rather just do protection. And then there were definitely some in the middle that were like, I'll do any of it. You know, like if you run one in front of me, then I'll freestyle a bull if the stock contractor asks me to, but I'm here to just book a rodeo for cowboy protection.
I think that was just like the time frame of, you know, like you said, like Tuck, Nate, Harp, Swish, all those guys, is we still had open weekends. Like we weren't completely booked up yet. And the way we looked at it is like, this is going to make us better. And there's a lot of money added. So one, I get to continue to compete and make myself better, because knowing how to handle a fighting bull makes you handle bucking bulls so much better. Because, I mean, you know, bucking bulls out there kicking, there's so much timing to it. Fighting bulls flat and fast.
Yeah.
So if I can handle this bull that's flat and fast, bucking bull is no problem.
Right.
So where our mindset of it was, this just makes me better.
Yeah.
So why would I stay at home when I can go compete against my buddies, win money? That's ultimately going to make me a better bullfighter at the end of the day, because in my mind and all their minds is I'm a bullfighter. I'm not a protection guy. I'm not a freestyle guy. I'm a bullfighter.
Yeah.
Throw a bull in front of me, I can handle it.
RodeoTime.com is the only website that should exist because it's the greatest apparel line that has ever existed. So go there now to get a t-shirt, a hoodie, a cap, a vest, whatever it is you need. Go to RodeoTime.com, old son. Ever since I started riding bulls and punching fools, I've been wearing an American hat because I'm an American. I actually wore a different hat before that for the longest, but then my mom got a job. So wear an American hat, old son. Otherwise, you ain't no cowboy.
Yeah. You remember our first freestyle in Bryan?
Well, that was my second. My very first one was Navasota.
Navasota.
Yeah.
But weren't they both Sammys?
No,
who had the one in
Navasota was
Navasota?
Rob Parker's.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, WFO.
Yeah.
I drew one X that had been to the finals. He was 10 years old when I fought him. Oof.
Yeah. I just remember going to, maybe I wasn't at that one with you.
No, it was me.
I remember a freestyle in Navasota.
There was, I think it was 2 or 3 of us. Me, I think Chris. Well, I think Chris. What's his last name?
Monroe?
Yeah, I think he was there, and Dakota Teague.
Mm. Oh yeah,
yeah,
from Cowboy Church.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was my very.
I have
first
a picture of in Navasota where a bull picked up the barrel, and I'm holding it because the clown wasn't in it.
Mm-hmm. Like
I'm up in the air, but I think that was a Catalina deal. I don't think that was the.
Yeah, I know that. I know they had a deal out there, but this was like some bull buck out or bull's night out or something that they used to do. But that was my very first one, and died.
Yeah.
And then Brian was my second one, and
you drew an old bull there too.
Yeah, old bull there.
That's what Sammy had at the time.
That's
was
all
old bulls, except the one I fought that night, which was a young bull. But at the end of the rodeo, he died in the back pens.
Yep. So all we had was that old bull.
Because we were joking that it's like, oh man, Sammy got him a young fresh calf finally, and he didn't make it out of the rodeo.
No, he didn't. And then after that, my next bullfight was Ardmore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it accelerated very, very quickly for me.
Yeah.
Because I went to Ardmore in the spring, and you didn't go to that one, but you went in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was my last bullfight before I just started riding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I loved fighting bulls. I just didn't. It was almost like, like a lot of bullfighters also play golf. A lot of bronc riders also play golf, or I can't think of it like a side hobby, but it was almost like I really enjoyed fighting bulls. It was just also on Saturday night.
Well, that's pretty tough.
Hard to have a hobby that's during your
the
thing
not
you
only
want.
that is completely different. Like one you're entering, the other one's like you kind of got to be around. You got to shag flanks or whatever.
Completely different.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to do both of those in one night.
But
and it's hard to be in multiple places in one weekend when you're supposed to be in one place fighting bulls all weekend.
No kidding. So anyways, back to like the just bullfighting 12 years ago, what I was kind of driving at. It's like there for a while, it's, there are your Ardmores and a few freestyles, but, and that, is another reason why I think a lot of guys may have just decided to just be cowboy protection, because there's not a lot to do for freestyle anyway. But I had coming off of Corey Wall, Benny Patrick, like those guys were like, you have to do both. Mm-hmm. That was like their mentality. You got to be willing to freestyle, and that's going to make you better at cowboy protection. And so that was my mindset. Well, anyways, then It's funny, like Ferg had BFO, which at the time was selling just equipment. Like that was a website for equipment.
My original video was at Radiator Ranch at the arena at the tack room.
Yeah.
It's Team BFO. Get all your needs at bullfightersonly.com.
Yeah. Get your pads and
yeah. It was nothing to do with any bullfights. It was just the website.
And then you had an idea to put you.
Actually, Hambone called me.
You.
And said, "Hey, I want to put a bullfight on in Vegas." And I was like, "Well, I want to fight at it."
Yeah.
Like, well, let's help me put it together. I was like, "I don't want to put it together."
Yeah.
It's like I've helped start that deal in San Angelo, done it a couple of years, and he's like, "Well, let's do it in Vegas."
Oh, that's why he called you, because you had done the San Angelo one, and he did the sound there.
Yeah, he was doing the rodeo out there.
That's right.
And then he was like, "Yeah, let's do one in Vegas." I'd talked to Bo and all this, and I was like, "I mean, I'll help you get it started or whatever, but I just want to fight at it."
Yeah, production sucks, right?
Producing and fighting is a whole different animal, and then him and Ferg got intertwined, and Ferg was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this." I was like, "Perfect."
This was in 13, wasn't it?
No, that was 15. Because we had already.
I knew Papa died, but
we had already.
You were living at the ranch.
Yeah,
that's why I knew this.
Yeah, because we did the videos or whatever in 15. Started the website, and then I'd say early fall, probably late summer is when Hambone called and was like, "Hey, I want to do this," because we had done Bulls of Weston 14 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I had those two events that leading up to this. He's like, "Let's go to Vegas and do this." And him and Ferg got hooked up, and then Ferg was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this bullfight in Vegas." I was like, "Perfect." Like,
yeah,
I'll be there.
Yeah.
So that was we had it at 9 a.m. at Cowboy Christmas.
Right.
For I can't remember if it was 10% or 6 or 7, but we had a bunch of them. Like we had the Ruffy Cup, and then like 2 or 3, and I think we had a day or 2 off, and then we started up the big tournament because I'd won the Ruffy Cup, the very first event, and then Chuck won the event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I want to say 6, 7, 8 days long.
I don't think it was 67.
No, well, 6, 7, 8.
I think it was maybe 6, possibly 7, but not 67.
No flanks at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, y'all went no flanks.
Yeah, because we were, the general consensus is it'd been so long since bullfights had been around, and we wanted to show that, the flanks weren't a big deal. We could do it without it. A pure animal just doing what he was bred to do, and all these bulls have been around for a long time.
Yeah,
they weren't fresh, and we were just getting wrecked out.
Golly. And that was also whenever Swish did the fence work thing.
Yep.
And that was
that was on.
Nobody had really seen that before.
No, that was, he got put in a bind over there against the fence and just fence worked out of it. And that was, like I said, kind of the first time anybody had ever really done it. And
right
now it's just a staple. Like,
yeah, people do that.
You either know how to do it or you don't, and use it and then get out. But yeah, that was, I want to say that was the short round when Chuck did it and won it.
Mm-hmm. Super neat the way that worked out.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we definitely brought flanks back.
Yeah, so you brought flanks back, and you brought freestyle bullfighting back. So I guess that's where I was going with it. Is like there was a little bit of a shift, and
yeah, we got a lot of momentum right after 15. Ferg we had had the Cowboy Christmas, had the big event, 67 days long, and and right after that, we had partnered up with the PBR. Going into 16, and then that was the year we were going to have a full-fledged tour.
Yeah.
I mean, bullfights have been dead for 15 years.
Right.
And then 16, we had put together a staple of events. We went to Oklahoma City. We went to Phoenix. We went to St. Louis. We went to Anaheim. There was a couple more that we went to with the PBR, but then we also started having standalone events. We went to just north of Austin.
Yeah, I was about to say one down there.
Cedar Park.
Cedar Park.
Cedar Park was our
Wasn't there
very
one in
first
Corpus?
standalone. No, not Corpus.
Maybe it wasn't a standalone.
What else we have? We had some standalones in Ada, and then we started rodeoing too. We went to Cody, Sykeston. We went to Sydney, Iowa, Salinas. Just like all these people that loved bullfights for so long was like, it's back. Like, let's bring it here. And I mean, I think that first year, I think we had 15, 20 events somewhere in there. It was like it felt like overnight, which had been obviously a long time coming with, guys like me, Nate, Chuck, Tuck, all that, been going to those bullfights here and there. All of a sudden, it was like we had somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then 16, we went back to Cowboy Christmas for the first weekend where we had the Ruffy Cup, and then Hard Rock picked us up, and we had the second weekend, we had the championships out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what was interesting was it was the beginning of, now there were kids starting to get into freestyle for the sake of freestyle.
Yep.
And it wasn't as much like bullfighters that did cowboy protection who occasionally went to freestyles. And I feel like you were kind of one of the first guys that was like really more just cutting your teeth on freestyle specifically for most of the year.
Yeah, that happened like 16 was like I'd been rodeoing pretty hard and was starting to get some good rodeos. And then right about that time, the summer of 15, I was tired of getting bossed around by contractors. Like,
yeah,
I wasn't getting to the committee rodeos yet, and I had one or two of them which were awesome, but contractors tell me, you got to do this, you got to do that, and it was like, you're not paying me anything. Like, I'm not your slave.
Yeah, $300 a night.
Yeah, and I remember very specifically one night out in Colorado, this guy was telling me, I got to go do this, go do that, and then he was over there sitting down, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I remember walking up, and he was like, pretty much taught you a lesson type deal. And I was like, you're not old enough to not get whipped. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then Ferg was like, like I said, that very next summer was like, I got places for you to go. And I was like, I don't need them. I can do it by myself.
Yeah.
So I just started freestyle and kept my committee rodeos, but let go of everything else that was contractor hire. And I was like, I'll just go make my own name. And thankfully, like I said, had 15, 20 events to go to. So it was the perfect timing and created the perfect storm for me to be like, I'm all in.
Yeah. How many guys out there do you think, how many bullfighters would you count up in your head that specifically they prioritize bullfights over rodeos right now?
Right now.
Is 20 a good number?
I would say 15 to 20. And with the reason being is they don't have the connections or they haven't made their name yet in order to book rodeos.
Right.
So now, like you're saying, that focus has been, I've got to go to these bullfights to make my name.
Yeah.
Because it's the fast track. Like, going the protection route, it takes a long time, which...
If you just do cowboy protection,
it
takes a long time.
Like, to build up your videos and your portfolio of guys you worked for.
You pretty much just have to get hired by the right stock contractor.
Exactly. And then, but even then is like, you're stuck.
Yeah.
I could think of several guys who get hired by them, but then they never go anywhere with it. So now it's like, I've got to freestyle.
Yeah. And then there's just more freestyles in general. How many does BFO put on?
So now I think we're at 12 events a year now. There for a while, we had probably roughly 18 to 20. And then we redid the business plan and business model in a sense of like less events, bigger money.
How many UBFs are there? Do you know?
I don't. I know that last year they changed their schedule up. They used to have a pile of them, but now it seems like they just do Cowtown on Sundays and a few here and there, kind of.
Oh yeah.
Like they've got a lot. They do a lot more like the smaller town markets. And they'll put on standalones and things like that, but I wouldn't know what their business model is by any means because I don't have anything to do with it, but I do know that they have a lot here at Cowtown on the weekends.
Do guys not go to both?
No, they do. The younger guys, like myself, I never did because I'm part owner of the BFO. You know, like I was one of the original members, and then you'll see that with the guys who've been going, that they'll kind of pick an avenue and stay because they're chasing a world title. And it's hard to hit both if you're trying to chase because there'll be sometimes that they're on the same day.
Yeah. Are there other ones, bullfights? I'm trying to think. Isn't there another?
There used to be. Shorty Gorham used to have one. No, there is. Kevin Rich is the ABF.
Gotcha.
His is more around just Colorado. Shorty used to have one. I can't remember what it was called. ABC, UBF, whatever.
Yeah.
But there was a bunch, right? Like I said, 15, 16, that fire lit up underneath freestyle bullfighting. It was like everybody had one.
Yeah.
Which was awesome because guys had places to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And UBF they put some on a long time ago. Early 2000s. I remember hearing about those like on the East Coast.
Yeah, see, I wasn't fighting bulls then, and I didn't grow up wanting to be a bullfighter, so I didn't know nothing about them. But I think
when I first started, I think they were kind of trailing off. But I don't think I ever went to one. But I almost went with Chris Monroe to one on the East Coast, and he went out there.
So I went to, and I don't know if it was UBF or it was just out on the East Coast, but it was 13 in the spring. I won Ardmore. Pop had just died, and I was supposed to go to North Carolina. Or actually, excuse me, I was supposed to be in Helotes.
Yeah.
And they asked me to go to North Carolina, which was the same weekend, and I remember looking at what I would make in Helotes and what I could win out there, and I decided not to go to Helotes, and Zach went for me. And so I went to North Carolina. He went to Helotes.
Dang.
That weekend.
I don't remember that. I was kind of distracted.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember feeling very guilty about being out in North Carolina.
No.
Well, yeah. But
I was fighting in Paris because I just got all of Sammy's rodeos to Sammy Andrews. I normally go to Helotes myself.
Yep.
But Sammy Catalina just had 2 rodeos. He had Helotes and Bryan. But Sammy Andrews had, 15. And so
good ones.
I was like, all right, well, since I'd picked up all of his pro rodeos, I went to Paris for him. And, I helped Pop get his trailer loaded Wednesday, and he was leaving for Helotes, and I was leaving for Paris. I went and stayed with John Harrison that night, the rodeo clown. But anyways,
terrible place to stay.
May 1st was a Wednesday, and I remember because he died May 2nd on Thursday, but I remember I shook his hand, and I left there, and that was the hardest I'd ever cried. I knew it was the last time I was going to see him.
Really?
Yeah, because my brother was working, he was building a saddle, and he was 15 miles up the road, and maybe it was 10 miles, whatever. Ray Woodward. Yeah. He was at Ray Woodward's shop building a saddle. And so I remember I can feel my dad's hand in my hand. I shook his hand, and I cried so hard because I needed to stop in to tell my brother it was a saddle for me. He wanted me to stop. Well, anyway, so I stopped in there, but I had to sit in front of the shop to gather myself because I was crying so hard. Dang. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And then the next day he died.
Yeah, no, I just remember that's the Thursday I flew out to North Carolina.
Yeah.
I remember landing there and it was like,
yeah.
Dang.
No, I mean, you made it back in time for the funeral and everything. Yeah, I was tying in a bareback horse. It And the judge was like, "What's old Jacobs Crawley doing?" And I was like, "Well, he's down in Helotes. He's out in Helotes tonight." And my phone was in my front pocket, and I was tying in a bareback horse in the arena. And I was like, "There's that redhead right now calling me. What's he want? The rodeo's already started." And he's like, "Dude, you got to come up here. Your dad." Anyway, I was like, "Sammy, I got to go." And I walked out the out gate and went about 90 miles an hour down to Lotus in my Jetta, Volkswagen Jetta.
Diesel Jetta.
Yeah. Anyway.
Went through a few of those rodeo wagons.
Yeah.
The old Magnum.
Oh, yeah, the Magnum. Man, that was a cool car, huh?
It was perfect for rodeo.
God, I love that.
Murdered out.
Yeah. Rims. Man, I should have kept that.
Rough as heck going down old
Walker Prairie. Yeah. Dang, so you've been freestyle bullfighting hard for over a decade.
Yeah. I would say I got a taste of it in 12. 13 is when I decided I still didn't know anything. I went to that IFR buck and stock sale in 13 in the winter. Mm-hmm. And me and Zach Arthur went, and I don't think we won it, but I just remember like there's a bunch of mean bulls going to everything, enjoying it, and then Webb came up and invited me to Ardmore there. It was him. I remember it was Webb, Chuck. I think Tuck was there, and maybe Harp.
Yeah.
And Webb invited me to Ardmore. I came over, sat down, introduced himself. He was like, "Hey, you want to go to Ardmore?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." I had no clue what Ardmore was. Not a clue. And then obviously got to Ardmore and realized what I got myself into. But
yeah.
And then 13, I won Ardmore, went to North Carolina, and then there was like 3 or 4 other, standalones, and just was like,
34 standalones is a lot.
And I just got a taste of it and was like, I'm just a kid open wanting a rodeo. Didn't have any rodeos to go to until you quit, and then I took over Sammy's run. Mm-hmm. But just any open weekend, I would hit any bullfight I could, just to be on the road, wanting a rodeo so bad. Growing up listening to rodeo stories your whole life, it's like finally I'm ready to hit the road. And then, one thing's led to the next, and come 16, it was like that was my entire summer, my entire career pretty much was just bullfights.
So now I'm picturing you trying to fight Sammy Andrews in Colorado.
No, it wasn't Sammy. It wasn't Sammy.
I'm just kidding. Dang. So, man, I'm just thinking about the game of bullfighting, and now, how do you feel? Like how many events do you think you'll fight in 2025?
Every one that I'm open. I would have been in Rapid if I wasn't in Fort Worth this weekend.
Yeah, because you fight Fort Worth.
Yep.
And Austin.
Yeah, I've got a good staple of protection rodeos now. Salinas Extreme Bulls, Burwell, Corpus, North Platte, Mobridge, South Dakota. I've got a lot of really good rodeos now.
Yeah.
But I've still got open weekends, and my mindset hasn't changed. If I'm open, I'm going.
Yeah.
So like they had a standalone in Rapid City last night, and if I wasn't in Fort Worth, I would have been there.
Right.
So I've got a standalone in San Antonio coming up February 23rd. I'll have a couple weekends off, then go to Austin for the month. But I would say I would hit probably around 8 or 9 events. Like I said, I think that's somewhere in there is how many I'd be open for that I can hit.
Yeah.
Bullfights anyways. So still chasing the elusive number 5. So
yeah, that's
still a goal of mine and something.
You got to go buckle on.
I do have a gold one, but it's not the gold buckle. This one's Salinas.
It's also a lot smaller than mine.
Yeah. This one isn't this year, so.
Right. Mine's this year. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wear this one
Humbly,
Yeah,
like me.
it took me a very long time to win this one, so I was like, I'm gonna wear that one.
That's a sought after buckle. That is a very sought after buckle.
It took me more years to win this one than it did a world title.
Yeah.
So,
Who won the world this last year?
Tyler Manziel.
Right.
won it.
No, I knew that. I just wanted to hear you say it. That it was.
Yeah, I had to sit there and eat some humble pie while he went and won his second one. So
Yeah.
it is a very humbling. That's what I love about it is it don't matter how good you are or everything that's
Losing?
going on.
You love losing?
No, I hate losing. I think that's what keeps me coming back is,
You've been good at it lately.
yeah.
Just kidding.
I've been as good as it gets.
Just kidding.
Yeah, sitting there just knowing that doesn't matter how hard you work or whatever, it still comes down to performing that day. And
That's
if you
a good
make
point.
a mistake, it'll cost you.
Man, that's freaking rodeo.
Yeah, everything's got to play into your hand. You got to have the animal. You can't miss a step,
Right.
and you've got to finish. And I've always been such a competitor my whole life, and I think that's what keeps me coming back is just knowing at the end of the day, each time you fight is like you've got that feeling of like I did it right today or I didn't, and if you don't, that competitor mindset is how do I fix this? I've got to fix this.
Yeah, it's. I think it was Casey Fields said like the hardest world title to win is the second one. Like the first one, everything goes your way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because I feel like just like bullfighting, like all the other events are the same. Like it's got to go. You got to draw the right horses at the right. You got to have a good year. Mm-hmm. Then you got to have a good NFR.
yeah, and then
You have to have a perfect NFR.
Yeah, and it's the same thing for us. Like we've got less nights to do it, so less bulls means you got to capitalize on every bull.
Right.
And then but even at that is like kind of like I would assume a lot more like the bareback riding because you're in a fist fight. Mm-hmm. Not every bull is the same.
Right.
Like they might be in the same pen, but there's going to be a better bull in that pen. Mm-hmm. There's going to be one that's harder to get by in that pen, and it's like. Then bulls can jump each other in the back like you'd had the right one, and all of a sudden, like we don't draw. They're all shoot ran.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, because they're so hard to sort. And if they're in the back sorting, well, you're taking the fight out of them. Like if you're trying to get Sid Vicious loaded for me, it might take you 10 minutes to get him to load first. So they put 3 bulls in the hole and then open the alleyway, and whichever one goes. So I don't know which bull I'm going to fight until I walk over and peek. Mm-hmm. That's why you always see all the guys walk over there and go, what do I got? Oh, crap.
Does anybody not? They just not.
I'll be honest. I'm probably one of the ones that doesn't go look until right before I fight.
But, just not look at all.
I don't know. I think everybody goes and looks. You want to know if he's
That would be cold.
Yeah.
That would be cold.
Yeah.
If you didn't look.
I think, I don't know. I'm going to have to go pay attention now because I'm bad. I won't watch 90% of the fights.
Uh-huh.
Like, there's very few people I'll watch before I go. Mm-hmm. Because it's so mental. The last thing I want to see is you getting run over before I go, or somebody else that can't control a situation, get in a bind and get out of it. Because when you walk into the arena, you're seeing all these things. So the last thing I want to see is something negative. So everybody will be like, what do you think? I'm like, I didn't watch. I'm over there sitting by myself, hanging out, but there's other guys going, whether Bobo, Tuck, or somebody like that. I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch.
Yeah.
But for me, I'd rather not know.
Right.
Bullfighting is so mental. The last thing I want to do is start competing against myself in my head before I even walk in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what bull I got until I walk over there. Like, I'll know what pen I'm in and what bulls are in that pen, but I don't know until I go peek.
It's crazy there's so many more freestyles. There's also more guys getting horns in their butthole.
That's a very real thing.
Yeah. We had that UBF at my house, and there were 2 buttholes got penetrated.
Yeah, I watched Bobo get a new butthole in Ada, and right after that, we started talking about it. I went and bought a big old Barstool leather butt pad, like the bareback riders wear.
Barstow.
Barstow. I said Barstool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barstow. And,
But you might need a tailbone pad if you're on a bar stool quite a bit too, which you have spent some time at the bar. So
Man,
that's a bar star for you. If you got to wear a tailbone pad,
that means you ain't got enough ass.
or you spend way too much time on you would be dancing. You wouldn't be on the bar stool that much. You'd be
I
dancing.
used to. Now I'm just the grumpy old man sitting in the corner watching.
Cut a rug with you'd have a cowboy hat on, probably a short sleeve pearl snap, some starch pants, and some sneaks.
I go fast.
Yeah, which I've come around to them. They got me on the Instagram ad with these Jordans.
Those are sick.
$88, free shipping.
Dang.
You got to, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You got to.
That's a no-brainer.
So
Yeah, me and the boots just have never got along.
you're a sneaks guy. You can call us. We ain't no cowboys, but we don't care. Look at this hat. Of course I'm a cowboy. So back to the buttholes. You got you a tailbone pad from
Yep.
Barstow Pro Rodeo,
Pro Rodeo, not Barstool.
not Barstool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they mowing the lawn? This lawn?
I mean, it's Sunday.
Are you kidding me?
That's what I've been watching over there.
Sunday mid-morning. It's perfect time to mow.
Yeah. I'm going to give this Airbnb a super bad review.
Who mows mid-morning on Sunday?
Mow the lawn. 10:15 on a
How
Sunday.
dare they wait for people to go to church to mow while everybody's gone?
Ah, dang. You
Yeah.
got me,
Yeah.
Weston. I should be in church right now.
How dare that? Yeah, no, Tuck's speaking, but I told him I couldn't go. I'm here.
Total Feeds is what keeps the herd powered here at Radiator Ranch, and Total Equine is what I've been giving Boone for 10 years. He's 24 years old and still going strong. You can get it on Chewy.com or a dealer near you. I hope you're enjoying a ranch fuel as you're listening to this episode of Rodeo Time. Use code DALE on ranchfuel.com for 15% off, old son. Drink up and use code DALE on ranchfuel.com.
So,
Up, down, up.
you got a tailbone pad
Yes.
from BarstowProRodeo.com. Did you get hit?
I have actually been popped a few times, and instead of having to get a new one, it's more so now just a bruise. So it does
Because of the tailbone pad.
It does its job.
So it's a regular thing. You use
Yeah.
the tailbone pad often.
I will honestly, if I don't have my tailbone pad, I feel naked now. It's like it's one piece of equipment you don't forget.
Is that everybody now?
No, it's not everybody now. Like I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'll tell it. Like guys will get caught, run over, and you'll see them. They'll be grabbing their ass. I'm like, dude, get a pad. Like it's gonna happen. Like it's just very.
Are you kidding me?
It's almost it's gonna happen. Like the way the horns are, the way the crease of your ass is. Like you're just gonna get caught.
Yeah.
And then there's one place for that thing to go, and they're gonna pick you up. Like it's
It's almost just like God designed all those things
for it to be a perfect storm.
for you to. He's like, hey, this is the one event. If you don't want that area messed with, don't do this event.
Facts.
So that means you got to be okay with that area being messed.
I can think of 3 guys right now that had surgery on it.
Golly,
Again, those are the ones I know of.
those are just the ones I know personally.
Yeah. I mean, Rump,
Yeah, name the 3.
Bobo, Hollywood.
Who? Hollywood Yates.
Yeah, Hollywood was in Salinas. Excuse me, 4, Blaisdell.
Logan Blaisdell.
Yeah, Ardmore.
Man, it happened twice in one bullfight on the beaches. But man,
It's the thing.
JB also brought some heat.
yeah.
Did you watch those?
Yeah.
Dude,
It didn't
was-
look like the ground was very good either. It looked deep.
Shut up. It doesn't have nothing to do with the ground. I mean, it has a little bit, but the bulls are using the ground too.
Yeah.
I'm just-
but you're trying to run in it.
I'm just saying.
The beaches of Winnebago, the last thing you want to do is run in sand.
The point is, he was like, what are you bringing, JB? He was like, oh, they're fresh. Never seen a human. They're also 5.
Yeah, there's the fresh is one thing, but when they're 5, they're grown.
Yeah. Dude, these bulls were so bad it didn't matter what ground you were on. I'm no world champ, but I've fought bulls enough to know that they were going to penetrate some buttholes whether they were on sand
Did
or
y'all break a
asphalt.
leg out there too or something?
Asphalt, broke an arm.
Arm, that's what it was. Yeah. I remember it looking like a bloodbath.
Yeah, so just know, kids out there, if you want to fight bulls, it is possible that a horn can go in your rectum. Those bulls do not care.
No, not a lick.
How have the bulls changed in your decade? What you've
I would
noticed?
say each contractor's different, right? Like Rex was known for big horns and like a 7/8 cross. Like he looked like a Mexican fighting bull, but he was built like a Bramer, like big horns, big neck, high headed, shaking his head. Troy's all size, like big size. Like some of them got horns, but I'm talking about big fat necks, big bodies. Trevor Hampshire's little, fast. So, but what I'm noticing the most of is how smart they pick up the game. It's like, it seems to me like when somebody will say they got 1 or 2 outs, you know, like in your mind you're thinking he's fresh, but man, they're fighting like they've had 5, 6, 7 outs. Like this genetics and these bulls, they're just so smart. Whereas like it plays into my hand because I've been doing it for so long. But these younger guys, when they think fresh bull, it's like they think they can get away with some of the stuff, like being able to make a few stakes and make up for it. But now it's like, man, these bulls are just so smart.
Yeah.
It's a testament to how cool these animals are. Like, I mean, they're just so smart and so cool, so pure. Like they were created for this.
How many of the rodeos that you're fighting these days sell a performance with a fighting bull?
Let's see. Well, I work for Benny Butler, so
Right. All of those.
Well, they've been letting it go here and there. So a handful of them: Burwell, North Platte. I'd say 3 or 4 of his now. But like Austin doesn't do it anymore.
34 is a lot.
Yeah, 30. It's about how many fighting bulls I'd have to fight in a year for him. So that's actually pretty correct.
Yeah.
But like North Platte doesn't do it anymore. Burwell still does inside the lion's cage. That's a different animal in itself. But Austin doesn't do it anymore. Tucson doesn't do it anymore. And it's really.
Oh, you fight Tucson?
I did last year. I went out there and actually we fought a fighting bull to sell the rodeo there, and man, it was a bloodbath. Like
really,
the bulls he hauled the last 2 years know the game, and it really took the fun out of it for us. Like me, Hart, Tuck. What do you think the odds are somebody's getting hooked to sell the rodeo?
Right? Yeah, low.
Every perf mowed down.
Dang.
I have to find the video, but I mean got thrown almost over hit the top of the buck and shoot, hit the top of the buck and shoot, fall down like a cartoon.
Dang.
Harp comes in to save me. Bull swaps right over top.
Yeah.
Like it was rough. So honestly, last year there was kind of we all got together and was like, dude, enough's enough. Like we've been doing this a very long time. Either get some younger bulls or we're not doing it. And it ruffled some feathers because, I mean, who likes change, right? And I mean, it ended up losing some rodeos over the deal, but, I mean, it's just nature of the beast. Like, you're going to get replaced at some deals. But to answer your question is that, I mean, we still do it. If some rodeos say, this is what it is, this is what it pays, and you're like, all right, I know what my job is.
Yeah.
So it's never been a complaint of, like, having to do it. It's more so, like, pay me to do it.
Yeah.
I do this every weekend. Has nothing to do with me being scared to fight your fighting bull or the want to. Like I literally fight them every weekend.
Has there ever been a bull that you were about to call for? You're like, man, I am either scared or I just don't want to do this today.
So I'm pretty good at tricking myself. Now the don't want to part is every day. Like Ross Hill told me this a long time ago. He was like, and you see posters, it's like, it doesn't get easier. It gets worse. What gets better for you is you learning how to teach yourself how to be ready for it, how to trick your mind into being ready for battle. And that's true. it hasn't gotten easier. It's actually gotten worse in the sense of being antsy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I really think you told me this a long time ago. It's like describing my job is, I heard you tell somebody, it's like, they're like, well, how do you do it? It's like, man, the difference between what I do and what you do is like, I know I'm meeting the bully in the parking lot at 3 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm meeting him there for a month.
Right.
Like, one thing to get in an altercation with a kid and be like, I'll see you later. I know I'm going to meet that kid or that bully for a month, 2 months. Like, I've got my book laid out in front of me, how many bullies I got to see.
Matter of fact, if that bully's not mean enough, you get a refight. Give you another one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, to me, the worst part is just the anticipation. Like, I wake up that morning, it's first thing on your mind.
Right.
Here we go. All right, calm down. I mean, because you can't get stirred up about it, or else you'll be mentally exhausted before you even get there.
So it's easy to see how a guy can get to the point of like, I just want to do cowboy protection.
Yeah, because cowboy protection is just literally all reaction. You're out there with your buddies cutting up. I mean, yeah, you might get into the mix of one of like, oh, hey, so-and-so's out tonight, but that one bull, whereas a fighting bull is like, dude, it's just on your mind from the moment you wake up.
Right.
It's been on your mind for months.
Right.
So, I mean, which is cool, but to, like we were getting at is like, it's just what changes for me is the mentality of like, it is, the work in itself is all mental. Like working out and all that I enjoy, but the mental side of it gets harder and harder in the sense of just like, here it comes. Or I got to get my motor going, and like, so it's never the bull that I'm facing.
Right.
It's myself of getting ready to fight that bull.
Yeah.
Because everything is telling you, why are you doing this? This is stupid.
What do you feel like you need to do to prepare to perform at your best?
Man, when I'm performing at my best is when I'm alone by myself and I can allow myself to go into that warrior mentality, getting that, like, in that almost angry state of mind, knowing I'm walking into battle. Like, I can't be lovey-dovey. I can't be your buddy. I can't, like, for me to compete, I've got to be almost to the point where, like, a hair trigger.
Yeah.
Like, me against you.
Yeah.
And I'm walking out.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like I am at my best. Now, as soon as it's over with, you're like, all right, I'm good. But to walk into battle knowing I'm gunned up and ready is like, it's to the state of like, back's against the wall and there's no way out.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy how unique of an event it is compared to the other rough stock events. You know, like my life was always on that end of the arena. You know, growing up, my dad worked for Charlie Thompson like since he was like 12 and all the way through college. And C-Bar-T Rodeo. I'm trying to get Charlie on the podcast, but
I went to his bull bash one year in the winter.
Really?
Yeah, the winter bull bash.
yeah, I mean, he had a winter series for decades. And, well, anyways, my dad was that was the end he took care of. He could do things on the timed event end. He was a good team roper, but for the longest, he rode bears. He loved Broncs the most. I've got pictures of him on bulls. He fought a lot of bulls.
That picture of him in that welder's cap jumping
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
cool. I remember seeing that
Sitting
thing,
on
and that's so cool.
on that Gaylord Butler
Yep.
bull. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember seeing that. I was like, that's so cool. I can't wait to have a picture like that.
Yeah, that's a funny picture. And then he obviously picked up, but that was just kind of what I was conditioned to just want to gravitate towards, was that end of the arena, the rough stock end. And so you got bareback, saddle bronc, bull riding, you got bullfighting, and then your pickup men. But it's so wild. Like you can kind of pick out similarities with the three riding events, obviously. Mm-hmm. But then like to be a bullfighter is such a unique mindset that a guy's got to have. It's so different. And even the riding events and the pickup men, like I think look at bullfighters differently. Like I think most of them, to be honest, I'm kind of thinking like they think that bullfighters actually have a screw loose. And the general public would see bull riders as that.
Yeah.
You know, They would see a pickup man as the most normal of the 5 events. But I think even within rodeo, like people would be like, yeah, bullfighters have the most screws loose. That's my observation.
I would say the bareback riding.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a fist fight. They're welding their hand in.
Right.
Like, to me, I see, I mean, yeah, you got to be cut from that cloth, and you just know what you're getting into being a bullfighter. But the bareback riding is like they're welding their hand in, knowing this horse is about to yank their arm out of their socket unless they're in the mix of it.
Yeah.
Like if they have any backup, they're about to get their arm ripped off.
Yeah, you cannot have backup.
I mean, like in my mind, I see Tim O'Connell's face right before he nods, and I'm like, that guy's got a screw loose.
I think about Wes Stevenson.
Yeah, or Casey Field, like their eyes just as wide as they can get, grit their teeth and nod.
Yeah.
And whereas like me is like, yeah, I'm pumped, I'm ready to go, but I've got a chance of getting away.
Well, you've got so much more control because you're on the ground.
Yeah.
I wonder of all the, it would be neat to take a vote on, of all the guys, you know, what's the event you'd be the most scared to do? It would come down to bareback or bullfighting. If you know rodeo,
yeah,
like most guys would rather, even if you're terrified of bulls, a lot of guys would rather get on a bull than a bareback horse because of the way
the odds are falling off a bull and not getting stepped on or anything, bull running off are very high. Bareback horse, you're going to be in a fight whether you want to or not.
There's one or two directions that you can get off of a bareback horse and it'd be okay.
The pickup man.
Well, yeah, like into your hand or away.
Yeah.
You get bucked off away from your hand, you're done.
Yeah, it just happened.
If you
In Fort Worth, the kid come in the
Oh, really?
Yeah, kid got hung up pretty good. Come in the sport, and I didn't know him, but coming in the sportsman, this kid's stout.
Yeah.
And he is just beat to shit.
Did it break anything?
No, but I mean, his face was black and blue by the time he got into sports med. It had been 3-4 minutes by the time he got in there. He's sitting there wide-eyed, looked like he had a concussion. I mean, got on a horse the next day. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he just died yesterday.
I only got hung up to a few of them. One of them was at the circuit finals.
Yeah.
Because it was, just the rank pin. I just wasn't ready. I liked hoppers.
Who does it?
I did not like.
I was more of an Undertaker kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my extent of my.
Oh, you got on him in a bronc saddle, didn't you?
Yeah, I tried because my uncles rode broncs.
Yeah, God.
That's when I was trying to figure out who I was.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Pop was teaching me. You were teaching me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard not to want to ride broncs when your uncles, one rode broncs for 30 plus years, the other one went to the finals, and
yeah, dang, I forgot you got on.
Those are stories I grew up listening to.
Undertaker. Yeah.
Scary looking dude, but so cool.
He was everybody's go-to to try in the bronc riding.
Well, you'd stop as soon as you fell off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here, let me get back on you real quick.
That was a cool horse. I forgot about him. Yeah, Bubba Miller. A lot of those horses went to Bubba Miller's. They all kind of. He still got one horse. Pop sold him in like 2007. Horse we called Budweiser. That's an old bronc.
It's paid off. Look at Bradley.
No kidding, man. I was there when Bradley Miller. He just went to his first NFR. Almost won the dang world.
Yeah, he was lighting it up.
I was there when Bubba, and you were too, when Bubba was running beside him on a calf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember going out there on Sundays. We'd have that little buck out.
Golly. How the time flies.
Yeah, it does. I was talking to Swish about it the other day. It was like how many people have come and gone. Like, starting out, you don't see any of it. You're just pumped to be rodeoing. Now you're looking at it, it's like, there are a lot of young faces. And you almost find yourself more gravitating to the old. Like Stir was in sports med just the other day.
Yeah.
And he sat down and he started telling me about these goats that he bought. And they were playing with him and the kids or whatever. And I was sports med lady, she's like, how long you know him? I said, long enough to know that our conversations have changed.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you mean? I said, well, we used to talk about what bar we were going to. Now we're talking about his goats.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. I think somebody asked me on a Q&A, like, what about if I thought they should college rodeo? And I said, absolutely you should, because you're getting into, a lot of those guys are getting into rodeo for the first time. Some of them have been going and they're going to the college finals and probably going to the NFR that same year, but you're thrown into a rodeo scene with a bunch of people that are your same age.
Yeah.
And so what was cool about college rodeo is to watch, you know, where behind the chutes at a college rodeo, you've got guys that, like I said, they're going to the NFR that year. And then you got guys that their buddies are teaching them how to put their bareback glove on. And you got guys getting on a bull for the first time. And everybody's together. And it's one big, even though there's different schools behind the buck and chutes, it's one big team, it feels like. You're just all there rodeoing. But what's really neat is you fast forward through people's lives, and like we college rodeoed with Sterling and Jacobs. And I can think back to just, you know, the southern region around that time frame. And, you know, like Levi McRae was riding bulls, and he was from Florida, and he went to Athens to go to school there. Well, now he's shoot boss for Stay Smith, who's out of Athens, and he's got a wife and kid and never went back to Florida. And it's just wild to see. I suggested obviously to the person that they should college rodeo, but these are the people you're gonna rodeo around, and that's gonna be who goes through. And
I mean, it's just a way of life. Like, I mean, I vividly remember as a kid listening to my uncles talk about running up and down the road. Like, they didn't talk about the Cowboys game. They talked about going to Cheyenne. They talked about going to Calgary. They talked about going to Salinas. And that's all I ever heard during holidays when Uncle Keith and Uncle Terry were home. And I was like, I cannot wait to hit the road.
Right.
And it was like, as soon as I was old enough and college sports didn't work out, I was like, I'm rodeoing.
Yeah. What made you start with bull riding?
PBR on TV.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was just listening to them talk about broncs and rodeoing. Is like, I never like wanted to get on bucking horses, I guess, other than just hearing them talk about rodeo. I just always heard the rodeo story. Like, they talked about getting on this horse and number 5 tall boy in Houston and in 79 and like things like that. But to me, it was like I just heard rodeo. And then the TCR in Stanford was the yearly rodeo. Like, we had a big ranch rodeo in Haskell. It was a ranch where they didn't have bull riding. They didn't have bronc riding. Like, they had ranch bronc stuff. But the PBR being on TV and it being rodeo as a kid, I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to rodeo. I want to be on TV, you know. And then going to Stanford, TCR, Mom would just, literally see you later. And I would just go to the back pens and stare at the bulls and get in Mitch Terrell's and Trevor's way. Like, me and Trevor are the same age, but he's working for Mitch, so I'm just running around kind of shadowing him not knowing it, but just literally standing around the pens of the bulls, just staring at them.
Right.
I couldn't get enough of them. I was just infatuated with the way they moved, the way they smelled, like the way they walked, just come at you. It was just everything about them was so cool to me in the sense of like, I was like, I'm going to rodeo. I'm going to ride bulls.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until that day in Snook, Texas, when you were like, you should try this. I never thought about being a bullfighter. I just wanted to get on them, wanted to be around them. I sucked at it.
Yeah.
I didn't put enough time into it and figure it out. Like, I think I could have, but I don't think it was going to be an easy road. Like, it was going to be a long time before I put it together, really, to be a high level and be able to do it for a living. And it was like, that day I fought one that day, it was like, it's like putting on cleats again. Like, I can do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just growing up watching the PBR on TV, seeing Blueberry Wine, seeing, Mossy Oak Mudslinger, Camo, all those bulls. I was like, I want to ride bulls.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I never imagined a life outside of rodeo.
I didn't either. Just play day rodeo as a kid. Mom made us play day rodeo, and then, got too cool for school, wanted to play sports and all that. And I thought I was going to, but as soon as that didn't work out, I fell back on what I knew. Like, I'm going to rodeo.
College Station. What a town.
I stayed there way too long.
What a town. They tore down Hurricane Harry's.
That was like a week or two ago. They just tore it down. Yeah, somebody said last night at the Hurricane, I was like, golly.
What a place. Yeah, they tore down. Was the Hall of Fame gone by the time you got there?
No, it was still open for like a year or two. But it closed down I think it closed down before we even moved out to Radiator Ranch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure before then.
I would say probably 11 or 12 is when they tore it down, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I got there in 9.
Yeah, the Texas Hall of Fame. Yeah, it. They were talking about wanting to turn Northgate into high rises. I
believe it.
And there's a bunch of people like lobbying for it to be labeled a historic district.
Yeah.
So I think that'll keep it from happening. Bro, you want to talk about some old money leaving Texas A&M? If they tear down the Dixie Chicken, I bet some people will stop sending some checks.
I guarantee it.
I will for sure. Not that I sent any down there, but
I dang sure paid the light bill for a good while.
Dude, I freaking love the Dixie Chicken.
Yeah.
God, that place was just iconic, and it deserved all the hype it got. Mm-hmm. But
yeah,
that was about the Dixie Chicken or Harry's.
Yeah, we're going to Northgate or we're going to Harry's. So
yeah,
that was it. One or the other.
Yeah. But College Station was a fun town. I don't know what I'd have done there without Snook.
Been in trouble.
That'd have been hard. And then for some reason, Dr. Al, I know the reason. Dr. Al's a rodeo coach there forever. He's the reason I went and got my master's. I was like, man, I want to be a rodeo coach.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he would just always give people that wanted to try rough stock my phone number. And I just kind of turned it into the guy.
You were the connection. I remember being at Harry's one night, and I don't remember who I was talking to. And they just asked what I did, and I told them I was a bull rider, which was a lie. I was just getting on them. I was dang near sure not a bull rider.
Yeah,
I'd get on, but I didn't ride many. They're like, you need to talk to Dale.
I'm pretty sure I know who. Wasn't it Amanda?
Maybe.
I think she was the one that
maybe
made the connection.
Yeah, she was like, you need to talk to Dale. I was like, who's Dale? I go over there. I remember I walked over to the other end. Harry's like, I heard you replaced the guy to talk to get on some bulls. Meet me in Snook on Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was dude. It was I think it was 13 miles.
It wasn't far.
But yeah, and then I ended up working for Kermit for a while. And yeah, Garrison. Just a wonderful human being.
I hadn't seen Garrison in a long time. Does he still live out there? That
no,
direction?
he lives in outside of Somerville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He got 2 kids, started a seasoning.
Yeah.
You know, his dad would cater and had this awesome seasoning I would buy from his dad. But G's Seasoning, just the letter G, S, seasoning.com. Y'all got to go check it out.
I have to try some.
Dude, I'm going to send some to you.
Yeah.
There's not a meal that goes by. Dude, I'm not trying to, I get no money from Garrison for saying this. But if you guys are listening to this podcast, I'm telling you, whatever you think the best seasoning is, this is 3 times better. Pick your best seasoning, G's Seasoning. Right, Ty?
That's good.
It's superior to anything. Montreal, all of it.
Did not know he had a season.
You can put it on steak, you can put it on, and he's got a website. It's just a good old boy that trains horses for a living, and him and his family make this seasoning. So anyways, that's what
I'm
he's
impressed
doing.
he has a website.
Dude, he got an
he's as
email
cowboy
now.
as they come.
No kidding. He's got an email.
Flip phone, choker necklace.
I'm not going
wide
to lie.
brim.
To be honest, we were going to partner on it. But I was like, dude, this is your family recipe. You can do this. And I showed him how to work Shipping Easy and Shopify and get a website. Yeah. And so he just took off with it. And I was like, I'll just make some free shout outs for you. And then, because that's what I was going to bring to the table
welcome,
anyway,
Garrison.
was the marketing. But I was like, dude, they're thinking about getting it in HEB. Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yeah,
I hope
awesome.
Yeah, I hope it works out. If you think Weston and I are good guys, wait till you meet Garrison Gable.
Yeah, he's
Spelled Goble, but pronounced Gable.
cowboy.
Anyway, very cowboy. Very cowboy. Very good at seasoning. Cool. What's been your favorite moment rodeoing over the last 10, 12 years? What's been a hot...
Man,
when you think of like, I'm glad I did that, what was it?
Well, that's a tough question. I've never thought about this. Ones that stick out in my mind are Salinas, because it took so long. It's like, I don't know, it's like just getting the monkey off my back. Because it's such a, like we were talking about, it's such a drawing match out there. Like, you got the best guys in the world, and you get one bull behind, it's over with. So winning Salinas is one, with my wife being there. That was awesome. In 18 though, when I was trying to win my third world title, Sid Vicious broke my face on a Thursday, and then I still had the entire week left. And everybody was telling me to pull out, like, this is dumb, you can lose your eyesight or whatever. And I don't know, it's just like that. I'm still breathing. I can get through this, and winning that one, and then my family being there and all that. Those are two defining moments for sure in my career. But probably one outside of freestyling was when I got the call for Fort Worth. Like, because I've been grinding and trying to break that mold of, like, I mean, I am a freestyle guy and everybody knows it, but it was like, you almost get labeled that and people forget. Like, oh, I still do protection. And when they called me to come work Fort Worth, I remember running in there and tell Avery, I was like, I just got Fort Worth. And she was like, what? I was like, I just got Fort Worth. Like, finally. It was like all those years of, early mornings, working out, going to bullfights when nobody wanted to go to them, and then working the smaller rodeos and getting a bigger one here and there. And it was finally kind of like that defining moment of, like, I may never get the NFR, and that's fine, but I got Fort Worth.
You got Austin too. That's a big one.
Yeah, Austin's awesome. And actually, Austin was one of the first ones that took a chance on me. Like, I was 15 when they called me. The
year 15. He wasn't 15 years old.
No, I was not 15 years old. It was 2015. Ferg actually asked me where I was at that March. And it's like, you want to come to Austin? And I was like, who doesn't? And because we fought a fighting bull there, so it was a heavy importance of being able to handle the fighting bull.
Right.
And Ferg was like, yeah, you should, Austin's interested in you. You should go meet with them. And actually, me and Harp had an interview with them in Vegas in 2014 out there. And they called us up and was like, hey, come on. And man, that was like my first big break of like a big committee rodeo, big winter rodeo. Man, I've been there now since 2015. It's like, man, I've been there for 10 years now.
10 years. Golly, you've been at Austin for 10 years.
Yeah.
Do y'all still sell it with a bull?
Nope, not anymore. No, after...
Dang, Fort Worth neither.
Nope. Yeah, I used to have to fight a ton of them on top of entering them. Now, the two biggest rodeos I got, they don't have them no more.
Do they sell one at San Antonio?
They do at San Antonio, yeah.
Yeah, I know they have.
Yeah, they did it
Turn
for
a
a long
spotlight
time.
on.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
That was a cool bullfight to get to go to when we did the bullfights with the Extreme Bulls, but now we've got a standalone down there in San Antonio. We do it, so the rodeo ends on Saturday.
Oh,
Sunday,
that's right.
Sunday, it's just the...
Isn't it in the different arena?
In the Freeman.
Freeman?
Yeah, man, that's a cool event.
That's a neat way to wrap it up.
Yep.
Like for people that just haven't had enough and they're still the lingerers. The lingerers. They get to
Sunday matinee. I mean, 2:00 bullfight.
That's cool.
It is fun. So all these Texas winter rodeos, man, like, it's been cool. I've got to work them all. Got to go to Angelo for a handful of years. Now Fort Worth. Actually, I never got to go to Houston. I haven't got to fight bulls in Houston, but I did get to get on a bucking bull there one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was for, I don't know, some TV show or something. But yeah, man, it's been a cool. I've been very blessed in my career to get to do all the things that I've done. Never would have thought, starting on this track where it would have taken me and all the people I got to meet, and ultimately met my wife rodeoing, and now it's like looking back, like who would have thought some small town kid from West Texas could do all this cool stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man. It's been fun. I can't believe it's been 10 years you've been in Austin alone.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been fighting bulls full time now. I went full time in 2014. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was working in the oil field, rodeoing just a little bit here on the side. They're here in Fort Worth. And then finally I was like,
with Brittany, with Justin Bender, you and him were.
Yeah, we were working for Choice Safety out of Caldwell. And I remember I paid off all my credit cards, paid off my little bit of college debt from Blinn.
Yeah.
And paid my car off, put $5,000 in the bank, and said, I'm going to go rodeo.
What a mistake, right?
Terrible idea. Yeah. And
not the debt part, just going to college.
Yeah. I actually went back. I did finish.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I started rodeoing real hard. Like I said, I put $5,000 bank, went rodeoing. And then in 2016, I remember thinking like, I'm getting pretty deep in this rodeo. And at some point in life, I'm not going to ever want to go back. So I better just finish.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was more so than just still living in College Station fact. It was like, if I'm going to live here, I might as well go.
Yeah, I didn't realize
or
that.
just like, someday I may want this or need this. So
right.
I actually went back and I didn't realize how cool professors could be if you were just honest with them. But I walked in and told them, I was like, look, I'm not some punk. Like, I do rodeo for a living. My schedule is awful.
Which they were like, all right, that means you're a double punk.
Yeah, facts. And because Blinn has a very strict policy. If you miss X amount of classes,
dude, they're so strict.
You're canned.
Attendance is very.
Yeah, so I remember. I mean, the finals itself, I'd missed 2 weeks because they're for the NFR.
Right.
Like, they're taking college finals, and I've got to be in Vegas for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I remember just going sitting down and talking to them, and being like, look, I've got to be gone. I promise you I'll get this stuff done. So either give it to me early or just let me turn it in online. And every single one of them was just that part of the world understood, which was hard to explain if you're not from it because, them professors can be from all over the world. But
yeah,
my professors were actually cut from the cowboy cloth, and they're like, and that's cool. So, one of my teachers was like, you're good. I was like, wait, what? I was like, what do I got to do for my finals? You're good.
Yeah.
I was like, sending that guy a jersey, sending that guy an autograph sheet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I ended up finishing. I remember walking out in May. I think I finally finished in 17. That I wrapped up my 2-year degree. It took me 8 years, but I got it done.
Right. A lot of people go to school for 7 years. Tommy, they're called doctors.
Yeah, not me. I got that old associates.
That's funny.
I don't know where it's at, but I got it.
Nah, doesn't matter. Yeah. What are you gonna use it for when you're done rodeoing?
Man, that's a great question. I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, I've been in that limbo of I've got a lot of opportunities, a lot of places just from the networking that you do through rodeo. And you meet people all over the world and all over the country. But I've always just been driven more towards the real estate side, like just all the wealthy people I've seen either have rentals or short term or do flips and things of that nature. And that's the route I want to go. I've been dragging my feet for way too long on it, but that's where I would like to go. Now, I don't know if it's just the West Texas kid in me. Like I've always said, like I'll figure it out. Like I can go to work wherever, but that's not what I want to do. I'd love to get into the real estate game, and being honest, like it's where I'm at right now. It's like, I'm 35. Like I don't get to rodeo forever. It's time to get moving.
For sure. That's what your sister does, huh?
Yeah, she's a real estate agent. I would like to be more of a real estate investor.
Right.
But like I said, I still don't have any properties. We're actually looking at moving, and I'm wanting to turn our primary home into a rental to get started. But that's the goal this year. Yeah.
You got a nice house in Granbury, don't you?
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Right on the golf course, 13th tee box. I can walk out my back door and the tee box is right there.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome. I can tell you how many times I've golfed in the last year, and it ain't as many as you thought.
Yeah.
It's packed, man. And I'm not the golfer that wants to go play slow. If I'm going, I want to be gone for 3 hours max and home. Like,
Right.
I don't want to be out there all day. So, Randy lives about 8 or 9 miles from me, and whenever our schedules actually align, we'll go play. But that's few and far between.
If he lives 89 miles from you,
Yeah, it's a long way.
I mean,
it's about an hour in Texas.
that's an hour and a half.
It's about an hour in Texas.
Golly, 89 miles is a long ways. I did that to Trevor. I did that to like 3 times to Zach Top.
It took him like all 3 to even catch on.
Yeah.
He was probably like,
He was like, okay, it's a bit. I got it. It was funny. Yeah, Zach Top was funny about it. I want to compile them all. I think I did.
You and Stir were about the only ones.
Oh
that
my
do
gosh, Stir will beat a dead horse.
it. Yeah.
He'll-
Yeah, he did it to me in the locker room.
He will dig up a horse you buried just to beat it. He did that the other day.
Yeah, in the locker room. I was like, yeah, there it is. Him and Dale both.
Golly, it's so fun. When Sterling and Jacobs do it together, you want to talk about derail a conversation. Like, it can be so intense. You can be like, yeah, I want to say my dad died like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. 34 months ago? Don't you think you shouldn't be sad anymore? 34 months ago? That's almost 3 years, Dale. Get over it. 34 months. He could be crying about it, and him and Sterling will just like run with it. 34. Who uses months when it's been 2.5 years?
How is OJC? I hadn't seen him in a while.
He's on fire.
Is he?
He took 17 months off.
Say, yeah.
He said he
knew
came
he-
to our practice pen and saw I got this 3C66. I got him from Johnny Hoyle. It's a mare, and she's such a sweetheart. I'd been on her several times. Donnie been on her, won George West on her, and Johnny called me, and I was like, absolutely, I would love to have her. Anyways, he came to the house, and he was done.
Yeah.
And he saw one of the guys get on her, and he was like, dang it. He told me, he was like, that's when the itch kind of came back. And so he went back to the doctor. I think he had the plate and screws removed from his back,
So he's got more mobility.
because like when that plate's in there, it makes the top and bottom above a little more or less stable. But anyhow, the doctor, and this particular doctor, I think it's Dossett, same guy did my back surgeries, gave him permission. And Dossett's usually pretty strict.
Yeah.
And so he was a doctor for the Cowboys, and I don't think he works for them anymore, but if you have back problems, call Dr. Dossett, the Carroll Clinic. Regardless, gave him permission, if he felt good, and dude, that's all he needed. He got on a hopper at Tarleton, and this video, it's like the dude never took 18 months, 17 months, that's a year and a half, and he's, because Trevor and I were picking our team for the qualifier at Fort Worth that they had, which was just to see where we're seated for the Kid Rock and Rodeo in May. Well, Sage couldn't come down. And so it's kind of a silly thing because now the coaches have to ask someone for a favor to replace one of our team members to get on for $2,500. And a lot of these guys thought that meant they could get on in May. Like, no, this is a one-night deal.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to call Zeke Thurston because, like, he and I are friends, but, like, I'm not going to – also, like, they brought some buckers. Like, Awesome Sauce is an E-Pin NFR horse. And so I'm not going to ask Zeke Thurston. Well, I don't mind asking Jacobs.
JC, come on.
Yeah, hey. And Trevor was like, didn't he? And I was like, no, he's back and he is hungry. And he came and just knifed this horse, Texas City, I think was her name, a hopper. And he didn't have to get on Awesome Sauce, but he would have. He would have. Like, he's so hungry right now. I bet he goes to the NFR this year.
That's awesome.
I hope he doesn't hear this and feel like pressure from me, which he probably won't anyway. But yeah, he's doing so good.
That's good, man. Yeah, that's like I said. I knew he got hurt, but I didn't know if he was back or not.
Oh man, he's come out and got on that same 3C66 a few times. The last time he got on her, he probably spurred her for like 11 seconds. Dang. It was crazy. He just kept. I was like, okay, I guess I was picking him up. I was like, I guess we're gonna keep riding.
Get off her.
But he went to 10 FRs in a row, and it's crazy to think about how humbling it would be to just have your career just stop with one bronc, And
that's just rodeo. Like, it's just, there's so much unknown, and it's like you don't want to take it for granted because it can literally be pulled up, rug out from underneath you in
just that night.
An instant. I mean,
in an instant.
Like I've taught schools, and you try and tell these kids the reality of what we do is like, hey, I can't save you. Like, I can get them off you, but you got to listen to what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, kids, I've seen kids get paralyzed out of school.
Yeah.
And the best in the world like that. So, I mean, JC, who's Mr. Fundamental, in my opinion, was like, I mean, now he had to take a year and a half off.
Right.
Tilden, I thought Tilden was done for.
Right.
I mean, he took a year or two off, something like that.
Yeah.
And now he went 90 back-to-back nights.
No kid. Oh, he did in Fort Worth?
Yeah. He was literally 90 both of his rounds.
Last night?
Yesterday afternoon. So he was up.
Because I thought he was 90 in St. Paul.
No, he was 90 both rounds in Fort Worth.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
Maybe he was 90 also in St. Paul.
Probably. Yeah. No, he looks good. But
Weren't y'all watching it on Cowboy Channel? Wasn't he 90? Dang, he was 93 three in a row.
We were watching him at Fort Worth.
Oh, okay. Y'all were talking about Fort Worth then. You had just watched Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. All right. Regardless.
Yeah, but like you said, it's just
like a very, very Dale Brisby thing to do.
Yeah, sounds like it. This year.
90s. Make it rain, 90-point bull rides. Cool. Yeah, man. Rodeo, it is like that. Like it is just a blink of an eye. It can be.
You love it.
It don't love you back. That is so true. Yeah, Leon Coffey says you don't retire from rodeo. Rodeo retires you. Coming from a guy who hasn't retired. Leon Coffey, like he's still at it.
He ain't gave in. Not today.
Not today.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want that to be me. I don't know when it'll be, but like I said, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still good at what I do. And people ask me all the time, when are you going to be done freestyle? I'm like, I don't know. I'm done when I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, if I set a goal and I'm going to be done in 2 years, and it's like, well, if I win the world, the next 2 years in a row, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to go for another one.
Yeah.
But not being naive, knowing that, like, I mean, Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is just say not today.
Mm-hmm. Well, cool. Has it strengthened your walk any?
Man, yeah. And I think it's just, I mean, rodeo is so much like a part of life, just the highs and lows of life. There's great moments when it's easy, and then there's the moments where you question anything and everything you do. But the main thing that you can always fall back on is like, it's not my plan, it's his. And I'm not doing this for me. Like, yes, these are the abilities he's blessed me with, and these are, the attributes that I can go show the world. But in reality is like, I'm not performing for me. I'm performing to show what he's blessed me with. And there's been times I've been really good at showing like, this isn't me, this is for him. And then there's been the humbling moments of like, I went and won around and never mentioned him. And like, that's where it's like, I think is so cool about how forgiving he is. It's like, he continues to bless me even when I fall.
Mm.
But knowing like that is the staple of makes me who I am, is like, yes, I rodeo. Yes, I'm a bullfighter. Yes, I'm a world champ. But the reality is that's not who I am. That's not my identity.
Yeah. It's crazy how rodeo, at least that end of the arena, I'm talking about the rough stock end, like how it can really bring you back to your creator. And I think make a believer out of any atheist if you get on a bull. Like, you just, I can't think of that many guys that have died rodeoing, but there's been a few.
Yeah.
I can think of a few.
Yeah, I saw one happen right before my eyes you know, 2 years in Abilene, and it wasn't from a bull. It was just rodeoing in general.
Yeah.
But I mean, you want to feel the raw power of how strong God is. Listen to the panels rattle in the back when they're loading bulls.
Yeah.
Listen to right before the national anthem, the clanging and banging.
There's something about it though, like that I think that God, like the fact that he puts this ability in us, or just the fact that it's even possible is what I mean. And man, here lately I've been watching this video. It pops up all the time. This skier, Slev something. It's in another country. Something with an S. It's a weird name. It's a different name, not weird, but he's skiing down this steep mountain, and Aerosmith's playing Dream On, and does that backflip when there's that avalanche behind him.
I've seen that video. Yeah, and it's just as carefree as can get out, and there's literally the world's falling behind him.
Yeah, like
he's going down this mountain.
Death is behind him, and he does a backflip.
That dude's living life.
And dude, that is rodeo. That is bullfighting. That's bull riding. Like that dude would make a bad to the bone cowboy. Like just, I talk about this sometimes, but I went on Marcus Luttrell's podcast, Never Quit, the Never Quit podcast, and
Mr. Celebrity.
Well, it was a big moment for me because
Dude, you had a lot of big moments sitting there hanging out with McCaffrey, Cerrone, all that. And I was
dude,
like,
Christian McCaffrey.
I was like, if this Joker, if they only knew who he really was.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, I'm like,
Christian McCaffrey is such a nice guy. He is such a nice dude. He's the sweetest soul. He's so humble.
Violent on the field.
He is like, dude, he's like quiet, like talks like, yes, sir. Like that's what he had. Bo Sheath.
He
acts like Bo Sheath.
Assassin.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey and Bo Sheath. It would be like a quiet car ride because they're both just like, yes, sir.
That's what's so cool about people like that, though, is like just so quiet. Like I literally tell people all the time, I'm like, Bo, I'm terrified of Bo.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? I'm like Bo is one of my very best friends.
I remember the moment I met him, and it was at a Sankey school.
Yep.
And I was teaching it, and he showed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I liked him from the moment I met him.
Yeah. He as quiet as can be.
And to be honest, I don't really remember him fighting bulls. Like I remember him doing well. He did good, whatever. Obviously, he's good and talented. But what I remember about that weekend was like just how much I was attracted to his personality as a human.
Yeah, like he just so soft spoken. You're just in there hanging out. Like he's just the same person. Doesn't matter what's going on. But then they will load up the baddest fighting bull going, and it's like this switch. And he'll never say a word. I'm just like, hey, you ready? He's like, mm-hmm.
I think everyone, like, he's the kind of guy you just want to win. And if you want Bo Sheath to lose, you're a piece of shit, in my opinion.
Like, you can't root against him.
Like, if you root against him, something's wrong with you.
I felt bad for beating him.
Yeah. Same thing with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was sitting there with Marcus, and I was explaining to him that for a YouTube video, and it was the intern's ideas, but we got some knocker balls. Mm-hmm. You know, whenever, if for those of you listening, the knocker ball is this huge, even watching because I don't have one here to show you, but it's like a bubble that you get in, and the only thing that goes outside this bubble is the ankle down. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of walk like small steps, but you're in a bubble. And what they do is they'll put people in a rodeo arena with a fighting bull wearing these knocker balls.
Turn them loose.
The knocker part is you're supposed to bounce into each other, not a fighting bull.
Trying to get away.
We ordered them on Amazon, but they were like for children, I guess, because they cut off right above the knees.
Oh, you're exposed.
So we blow these things up. Webb's showing up with a fighting bull. I don't know if you saw this video, but Webb shows up with a fighting bull, a real one. And we put boxing gloves on her so that she wouldn't it was a cow, but nonetheless, like whatever, still
cow.
Just as fast.
Oh, they're faster.
Yeah, like she was mean.
Yeah.
And so Webb's coming in. We're going to make this video, and these knocker balls are above the knees. And we were like, let's do it anyway.
Yeah, it's already entered.
And Marcus Luttrell, lone survivor, Navy SEAL, interrupts me. And he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Whatever that is in you that made you say, we'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
He said, keep that. Keep it forever. Don't let go of that. And that was this moment where I was like, that's what it is between all of us. The skier that did the backflip in the avalanche, the Weston that's going to, fight the bull, the Christian McCaffrey, just that's what that thing is. Like, just when life tells a person, hey, you shouldn't do that. And then there's something about us that goes like, no, I'm going to do it anyway, And I don't know the details of how, like, for instance, Ross Hill passed, but that's one of, he had that.
Boy, did he ever.
Rock and roll denim is what Dale Brisby uses to spur his bucking bulls. I get the Reflex. Gives me the mobility I need to be the cowboy I am. So go to rockandrolldenim.com, old son. Hey, Bro-Tater Chip. If you like getting swole-o-matic, then get yourself some Protein on mountainops.com. Hey, or if you just like being healthy, whether you're trying to bulk up, get healthy, have energy, go to mountainops.com and use code Kevin for 20% off.
How'd you find this joker?
Internet, man, it's a crazy place.
It blows my mind. Like, I tell him all the time, like, we don't talk as much as we used to, but I was like, I'm still the biggest fan. But I was like, how the hell did this random person decide they wanted to go work for Dale?
Oh, an intern?
Yeah. Hey, I've got an internship. I'm like,
Bro,
I was the original intern.
we're from Texas. Like, there's opportunities for rodeo everywhere.
This is true.
Like, think about, where are you from, Ty? Kentucky. Like,
Do you even know his name?
I forget it sometimes. Sometimes I don't.
Where are you from? How long you been living?
I just wanted him to be able to say it. I'm
Great
trying to
boss.
include someone in the conversation.
Terrible person.
But where's the closest practice pen for you?
Ohio or Tennessee.
A different state.
Jesus.
He would have to go to a different state
I've
to
got-
practice.
I live in a senior citizen gated community, and I've got like 10 within.
That's what I'm
15
saying in
minutes.
Texas. So you got all the Donnie, bartender in Missouri. Even Jordan from North
Yeah, North
Carolina.
Carolina.
Harrison's in Pennsylvania. Wasn't he? Isn't he from PA? No, that's Clay. Clay's going like 3 hours to get on bucking horses. Harrison's from Mississippi. Like, dude, there's just not. We take it for granted in Texas. Well, you get on the internet and you find this dumb redneck with long hair and a practice pen in his backyard. He needs somebody to come chop up videos or clean out a burn bin at the ranch. Like, hey, I'll go do that for some bull riding lessons. That's how I find interns.
That's awesome.
I got 10 of them some bucks.
Slaves.
They're not slaves. They get paid. Dude, these interns got it made in the shade.
One of these days I'll learn their names.
They got it made. They got a gym. We got a sauna.
Somebody gave you one.
They don't work an extra hour without getting paid. The
What's the
interns
going
are
rate
spoiled.
for
So,
an intern these days? I guess I'm just have to fire back up.
after you get going, like every intern does work at least 2 weeks for free. That's, you got to pay your dues.
Well, yeah.
So there's the intern part. But then after that, you get $12 an hour. It's not bad.
I remember working out at the old El Camino for $8.25, and I thought I was going to never broke day.
Oh man, I forgot about that place.
Oh, yeah.
I never worked there. I worked for Scomardo, and we would
Yeah.
send cattle there. But
Yeah. T-Bar S.
so, anyways, what about you were going to say something about Ross Hill? He's got that.
Oh, yeah. Man, that guy's... There's, in my opinion, there are two guys that were the last of the outlaws. One is the most famous name in rodeo, JB,
Yeah.
and Ross Hill. And not everybody knew Ross, and that's sad. Like,
Yeah.
you either loved him or you hated him, but you couldn't hate him because the only time you hated him was when you were like, okay, Ross, calm down.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, oh, man, that guy just had a way about him of just being happy about everything in life, but always being in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, he just could never shut it off. But I mean, like you said, it was just like you had it in you. And my very first time to Ardmore, he was the only one that Like, cause I didn't know any of those other guys. Like, I didn't know Nate. I didn't know Swish. I'd watched their videos and stuff, but Ross was like, come dress out with me. So we got dressed out in the parking lot. He's over there burning cigarettes, and I'm over there puking because I'm nervous.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we meet in the short round, and right before I go, like, he just goes 89-90. His first time back in Ardmore because they let him back in from getting in trouble.
8,990 points.
There it is again. And he walks right up to me and goes, all right, little heat's on you, rookie. Let's see what you got. And I was like,
yeah.
And right there it clicked. I was like, you.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Yeah.
But it was like he just had that knack of bringing it out in you. And there was no backup in that guy. It didn't no matter if we were, chasing pigs or swimming or competing or whatever. That was his way of life, was just pressing the button. And I mean, God said, come home. And
right.
He went home. He went home saying, wide open.
Yeah. We were in Sykeston and rodeoing with Jacobs and Sterling. They would do this and go, hell yeah, hell yeah. But they wouldn't say H-E-L-L. It was almost like H-A-I-L, hell yeah. And do this. And
I remember those days.
Ross Hill, he was like, you should say Dale yeah.
Ross started that?
Yeah. And I was like, well, Dale, yeah. And then I threw this up with it because Jacobs and Sterling Sterling really had been doing this, and he would shake it. Well, Dale, yeah. And that's where I was like, okay.
Huh, I did not know Ross started that.
Yeah, we put out a shirt after that, and I didn't really, but then I just kept saying it in videos.
Yeah.
Now we get a lot of kids in trouble, and I was like, what? And just because it sounds like
no, look at
hell.
my shirt. Look at my shirt.
in school, and they say Dale, yeah, and I just forget that it sounds like the H word. And so I'm like, why would you get in trouble? Oh, yeah, I guess. And then I got to remember, because I say it so much that I forget that's why it's funny. But anyway, that's my Ross Hill moment. The selfie, calling for a bull, looking at your phone.
He told me he was going to do that. And that's what's crazy to me is, like, when you go out to fight bulls or you go out to ride broncs, whatever, like, you're just reacting. Mm-hmm. When you get a game plan in mind, you are throwing a lot of the cards out the window, and it's a pure gamble because you don't know how that bull's coming out.
Right.
When we were in the back, it was me and Nate. We weren't entered. It was the American qualifier to go to the American for the first time they had bullfights there. Mm-hmm. Nate had already advanced. I was up either the next night or what, I can't remember. But he was back there ripping on one. He's like, I'm going to do a selfie. I said, a what? He's like, I'm going to call for my bull, but I'm going to be looking at my phone. It's like, that's stupid. He's like, no, I'm going to do it. I was like, Ross, you do know, like, that bull come out bad? He's like, we'll figure it out. I was like, yeah, you should do it. I looked in there, I was like, this is so bad. This is a terrible idea. We're sitting up on the chutes, and he freaking, right before he walks out, he rips on his cig, puts it out, and then they're doing intros, and goes out there, pulls his phone out, and I'm like, holy shit, here we go. And he sticks it, turns around, points right at me and Nate, goes, shoots his gun at us, and he's like, I told you I was going to. Turns around, rips his bull, goes 90, and I'm like, dang.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one move I have not done. I've done a lot of them, but I have not done that one. Just the balls it takes to be like, yeah, I'm going to look at him on my phone.
They did the one the other day, blew my mind, where them guys, I can't remember who it was. I messaged him, told him how much respect I had for him, but one guy was down on all fours, another guy was standing on his back.
I saw that with the cow.
Who was that?
I have no idea. But they had their backs, and
the bull's coming at him. He's standing on this guy's. He's standing on a guy who's on all fours, sideways, so like not dead on, but
exposed.
Yeah. So, and then when the bull gets up to him, the guy standing jumps. The guy on all fours drops. The bull jumps over the guy on all fours and under the guy. It was
cool.
It was like the two bullfighters and the bull all planned it together.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that and was like, I mean, I'm glad I was a cow, but damn, that was dumb. Poor kid on the fall floor.
How much props can a guy use in a fight these days?
So
Like, I'm sure a selfie.
yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I guess you could call that a prop or whatever. I don't know. Like, there's kind of like just that unwritten rule book. Like, I mean, you can't go bring a pogo stick or, things like that. But, I mean, guys will take their hat off or they'll use their baggies, or I've seen the cell phone, but I haven't. I mean, the barrel, I guess.
I mean, the original prop is the barrel. So, like, if you can use a barrel, I just wonder if there's like a chair or something.
Toby Inman did the chair one time, but it was when we were doing those sessions. I don't know if you remember those.
Yeah.
So we would do a late night bullfight session where it was like just guys trying stupid stuff. Like, hey, we're not going to turn out big bulls, but we're going to turn out some fresh bulls, 3-year-olds, 2 3-year-olds, something that's probably around 1,000, 800, 900. And
8,900.
I said 8 or 9.
That's a huge bull.
You heard it. 8 or 900.
8,900. Golly.
He's trying too hard now, just like that guy.
Oh my gosh. Is that a leaf blower?
Hey, this is top-notch service. This place is going to be looking immaculate when we
I
walk
am
out.
done with this Airbnb. Bro, the power went out during Larry the Cable Guy in Vegas. Just not had the best run of luck with the Airbnbs.
Did you stay in an Airbnb in Vegas?
Yeah, oh yeah. Dude, forget staying in those casinos.
I wish I could.
It's, to be honest, like, just go there to gamble if you want to gamble, but
I didn't know you were staying at Airbnbs now out there.
yeah,
I thought you had a
it's the
casino
money.
deal. Huh?
I did have a casino deal and they tore it down. It's called the Mirage.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
But I didn't shop around anything. Some people have reached out, but it's just not worth it. The walk-in and the leaf blowers. And no, but the food.
Dude, it's
That's
so
what I liked about the
expensive.
Mirage. They would give me X amount of money.
Yeah.
And so, like, I took you to dinner that one
Yeah.
time. Like, but when you got an Airbnb, you could just you go to the grocery
shop.
store
Cook.
and you go to the grocery store off the strip. Well, it's like a normal grocery
Yeah.
store that you buy food at a normal price. And so that's what we did. Like, I didn't go, we go get sushi once or twice, but other than that, man, I cooked at the house.
That's how. So usually, the last few years I'll upgrade to like a suite because they give us our rooms for free. But I'll just upgrade. I say that the last few years I have until this year when the price was a 45% increase. Thanks a lot, Biden. Yeah, so I'll go grocery shop. I'll buy a microwave. I'll go grocery shop and then bring it all back to the room and just eat and cook in there. And then when Vegas is over, clean the microwave up, put it right back in the package and take it back. But this year the room was way too small and there was no counter space for a microwave. So it sucked. This year. It was expensive. I ate so many PB&Js.
Dude, you got to go the Airbnb route.
Well, our room's free, and I'm like, I guess I never really did the math on what it would cost.
Yeah, that's
per
true.
night.
Yeah, it's probably.
It's 16 days.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't get to just fly in, fly out, and let our interns do all the work.
I only did that this year. This is the first time I've ever done that.
How
I'm
long we
usually
out
there. And I helped tear down this year. I rode back.
I don't mind the drive. Like, I like it.
I don't mind it either. Didn't I drive back? I drove back. Yeah. I flew out there. I drove back.
How is the old metropolis?
Winnebago. It's good.
Winnebago.
No, it's good. Winnebago's good. The warehouse is fun. I'm just trying to keep it all going because I don't want to get a real job. So thank the Lord we have rodeotime.com, the apparel. That's what keeps it going. So those of you still listening to our boring conversation 2 hours in,
Yeah, we're literally
then
just
please go to rodeotime.com and purchase
we're just on the re-ride tour.
caps and shirts and hoodies. That way we can pay these interns. And how long have we been talking? 2 hours. We wrap it up with life advice. So what do you got?
Life advice. Man. Go for it. I mean, you never know what's on the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear people say it all the time, but in today's world, there's so many guarantees with a 9-to-5 job or whatever that may be, but that'll never bring you happiness unless you go for it and actually put yourself out there and be willing to fail. I mean, on the other side of failure is success.
Yeah, I guess that's like a daily thing for you. Whenever you nod for a bull, you got to just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what tomorrow looks like. I don't know what tonight looks like. I mean, I got a perf at 2:00.
Yeah. So,
but that's like we said earlier, is my future is already determined. It's not in my hands. It's I've got to go live life, and it's a prayer I say before I walk out in the arena every time. Like, I don't fear the future because you've already prepared it. So
yeah,
my feet and my hands are in your fate, and I'll trust the plan.
Yeah, that's good, man. Cool. Well, you guys look out for Weston Rutkowski, bullfighter coming to a rodeo or bullfight near you. And with that leaf blower going off, I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Gosh dang it, I'm on to the next one. I'm going to go give a bad review right now.